What's going on, everybody? Filming another video on location here at the Tinley Park NARBC show, and I'm with my buddy Rob Haneisen. You might recognize him from a post we just recently made on the Facebook and Instagram pages. But Rob, how you doing, man?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So for people who might not know you, what got you into reptiles?
So, I have a similar backstory to everybody else where, a kid who was obsessed with dinosaurs, read every single dinosaur book I could find at the library. And growing up in New England, we actually do have some cool reptiles that you can find out in the woods.
Absolutely.
Flipping over every log you can find, going to every single pond, see tadpoles, turn to frogs, stuff like that. I started out with reptiles really with milk snakes.
Cool.
Which you know.
Yeah.
Because you were one of my earlier customers.
Yeah, that's right.
Way back in New Hampshire, I got into breeding and keeping leopard geckos and Honduran milk snakes. And eventually that led me to Leachianus geckos. Again, being at a big show, you get to see some really amazing animals. And I saw Leachianus geckos. This was 20 years ago, probably.
Dang.
And actually bought my first Leachianus gecko from Don Hamper. At a reptile show in Pennsylvania. And
that's awesome.
So really a lot of my collection for the past 15 years has focused on Rhacodactylus geckos, mostly Leachianus. I skipped over cresteds. I just went straight to leeches.
Right to the leeches.
And then kind of like backfilled my collection with gargoyles and chahua. And I've gotten back into snakes as well with locality boas and some Australian species that I really enjoy keeping.
Heck yeah.
So I mean, it's really kind of like a hobby that has grown very slowly over the course of 25 plus years to now it's kind of like a cool side hustle that gets to pay for itself and lets me have fun, and I get to make a ton of cool connections with people all over the world.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. All right, so with the Leachianus geckos, they're such a cool species. Of course, the largest gecko species in the world.
Yeah.
What was the main attraction to Leachianus geckos?
The main attraction to Leachianus geckos, and really to a lot of the reptiles that I keep now, is the story behind them. Where they're from, they're the apex predator on this incredibly remote island in the middle of nowhere. Their behaviors are amazing. They're vocal. Their size is definitely very impressive.
Absolutely,
Holding a full-grown 450-gram GT Leachianus gecko is
an experience.
It's an indescribable experience.
Yeah.
It's like you really have to experience it to know what it's like.
Yeah.
So really, the thing that drew me to Leachianus geckos is just the story behind like how they were discovered, their behaviors. The thing that I did with Leachianus geckos, and especially with, and I try to do this with every single reptile project, is start off with babies. So you can see the incredible transformation that these geckos go through from they're kind of drab as babies, and they just bloom into these beautiful giant geckos with all sorts of color and pattern. And I think for most keepers, that's what I advise most keepers to do, is no matter what species you want to get, start with a baby.
Yep.
It's a great learning experience. You really learn how to take care of it. And I think you gain a bigger appreciation for what that animal is as an adult because you've seen it come out as a baby. It's not always easy to be patient like that.
That's fair.
Especially for people who want to do breeding. It's like, okay, Leachianus, you're looking at probably 4 years, maybe 5 years before you can breed. That's a long time.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Especially now, where the industry has come so far and is so busy that people they're like, I want to get into breeding. That is, they want to get into breeding now.
Now, yeah, exactly. In the world of instant gratification, how can I do this quickly? Yeah,
exactly. So patience always pays off, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I dig it. So you've had multiple species over the years. Is there a species now that you see out in the periphery that you're like, if I could work with one of those, that'd be kind of cool?
Abronia are pretty cool.
Yes,
and I like them particularly because I live in New England. Animals that can tolerate colder temperatures. I've been fortunate and lucky that I've been able to kind of dive into dream species in the past 10 years or so with the success that I've had with the Rhacodactylus. I have diamond pythons. I've gotten into locality boas, which that's a pretty deep hole to go down.
Yes, it is.
But it's fun.
Heck yeah.
So I think Abronia are really cool. So I'll give a shout out to Johnny Feliciati from Johnny's Racks.
Yes.
He has some incredible Montane blue tongue skinks, which again,
yes, he does.
He's in New Jersey, so he's a New England person like me.
Yep.
And they need some cool down, and those are amazing. So I would say those are probably the dream species that would be like, maybe one day.
Heck yeah.
And they're gorgeous too.
They really are, for sure. Heck
And
yeah,
again,
man.
it's a reptile that can tolerate some handling, and just their behaviors and their interactions is just something that, I've often told people have asked me, like, what's it like to have reptiles as pets? And usually what I tell them is it's like fish. It's like people who are really into tropical fish, except you get to hold them every now and then.
That's true.
And
That's
it's
true.
because
you're not holding fish.
No, and you got to change the water and all
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like, they're a more user friendly, but approach it in the same collector mentality and keeper mentality that a lot of like higher end tropical fish people probably do.
Absolutely. So we've got a really cool story. We're here at the Tinley Park NARBC, and you're a runner.
I am.
You're a runner. So we've got this really cool opportunity we're going to be talking about at the auction, where people are going to be bidding on a spot on the singlet that you're going to be wearing at the Chicago Marathon. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So I ran in the Boston Marathon last year, so that was 2024, and I've been a runner for about 12 years now, and qualified to run in Boston. And because I qualified, I didn't need to raise any money for charity or anything like that, but I wanted to make it about more than just me.
Yeah.
And many people in the reptile industry and friends know that we have a son, Isaac, who has Down syndrome. So Special Olympics is very important to our family. I volunteer as a coach. My wife volunteers as well. We have a lot of friends who have kids that have disabilities. So Special Olympics is really important to our family. So I figured, okay, I'll raise money for Special Olympics while I'm running Boston. So I did that last year, and I ended up raising almost $10,000.
That's awesome.
For Special Olympics, which was great. And it made, an event that is very, running and training for a marathon is very individual focused. It takes a lot of time for me. It takes a lot of time out with my family.
Yeah.
So it made it about more than just me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
So, but I also qualified for Chicago. And so I thought, okay, I qualified. I don't have to raise any money. What else is important to my family?
Yeah.
The reptile community is. The reptile community is a big part of my life. It's important to my family. Isaac really enjoys it. He helps me out with deliveries to FedEx and things like that. So I reached out to you with an idea of saying, I've got an idea of, I'm running in the Chicago Marathon, which is the same weekend as the October Tinley show.
Yes.
So I'm gonna miss most of the show. But what I said was, how about if we have a singlet, so the tank top that I'll wear in the race, designed by Justin Smith at Fulvius Apparel, with the USARK insignia on the front, and we can auction off sponsorship spots on my back, just like a NASCAR, like race car type thing.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. I'm psyched.
Man.
This is so cool.
It was such an awesome idea, and I was like, yes, so let's bring it to the guys, and we're all for it. So definitely excited to have you here, and we're gonna have him talk about it at the auction. So we'll get I'll plug some video of that in this video as well.
But what we're auctioning here today is the big centerpiece in the back. For those of you who are not familiar with the Chicago Marathon, it is one of the world major marathons. They have 1.7 million spectators that are going to see this shirt while I run the marathon, as well as 50,000 other runners. The people who win the spots will also get their own shirt. So you'll get your own shirt. You don't have to run the marathon. You do get the shirt though. So this is the chance for your business or your company or your logo to virtually run the marathon without having to do any training, and raise all the money goes to USARK.
Awesome. Round of applause for Rob for doing this for us.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great time, and I'm super stoked for you, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
What I get out of this is I get to make more connections within the reptile community.
For sure, yeah.
People just like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, USARK's important to me. USARK's the advocacy organization for this industry and this hobby.
Yeah.
It protects our rights as reptile keepers to responsibly keep and protect us from rules and laws that are proposed by government organizations that really aren't fair. And it's hard where we're spread out all over the country and we all have different interests and different species and things like that. So sometimes it's hard, I think, for us as an industry to all come together under one roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
USARK does that, though.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So we I was talking with my wife about it, and I proposed the idea, and she's like, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
this is something that's really important to our family, and it's something that helps protect our family too.
Absolutely.
So the way we're doing the auction, that we wanted to have kind of like some equal opportunities for people who weren't here at the auction, and maybe didn't want to like drop tremendous amounts of money. So we have like 10 coaster size insignia spots that'll be on the back of my shirt. There's a couple that have already gone, and then the main centerpiece on the back is what's going to be auctioned off here today. So somebody's gonna be riding my back for 26.2 miles in Chicago. It's gonna be fun, and
that's awesome.
And it's great promotion not only for the industry but for all these businesses. There are 1.7 million fans that go to the Chicago Marathon on race day, so they're gonna see that. I'm going to be wearing that shirt probably in a couple tune-up races beforehand.
Yep.
So people will see it there. There's 50,000 runners that are in the race.
That's insane. Yeah.
It's and the people who pick the sponsorship spots, they get their own. They're going to get their own shirts as well.
So this is a really exciting piece for the auction. This is a really exciting piece for you. Yeah. I mean, the Chicago Marathon is a huge deal for sure. So this is awesome, man. Yeah. We're definitely thankful that you were thinking of us for it as well. Yeah. And we're stoked. So like I said, we'll get some of the clips of that from the auction in this video too, so people can check it out.
Tonight and tonight only, the big centerpiece. We'll start that at $100. I got 500, Chris from Sea Serpents. I got 600, Sherry. I need 700. I got 7 right here. I got 800 right here. I need 9. I got 9, Chris. 1,000, Sherry. Eco. I need $1,100. 1,100. I got Todd Goodman, Timberline. $1,100. I need 1,200. 12, Chris. 13, Todd. I need 14.
Well, Rob, if people want to find out more about you, because you already kind of answered my question about USARK and what that means to you, so if people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
So I'm pretty easy to find. On Facebook, it's just my name, and the only thing that's difficult is my last name. Haneisen is spelled Haneisen. So you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. And I'm also a store vendor on Morph Market as Haneisen Premium Reptiles.
Heck yeah, man. I'll make sure I put all those links in the description below. Rob, thank you so much, man. We're so stoked.
I am too.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely.